Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. You really liked the last video I did when I had a book unhaul, and so I have another one here. And since this folds with like a lot of classics, I thought this might be interesting to kind of do this. And so here we go. Okay, so frazzled mom right now, but that's just life. So let's get going. So the first one I'm pulling off this precarious stack is this beautiful copy of Little Women. And the reason I'm letting this one go is I have two other copies of it. One is my daughter's. It's the Usborne Illustrated version. That's hers. So I don't need to save this for her. And the other one is a copy that I actually enjoyed as a kid. And so there's more memories with that than with this one. I was trying to collect these because I wanted like a beautiful shelf of books. And I don't need it. So I'm letting this one go. I'm actually going to see if my sister-in-law wants it for her family before passing it on. The book that I have here is actually something my husband is getting rid of. Hooray! And it is Glenn Beck, Arguing with Idiots. We actually just Glenn Beck, yeah. I either like what he says or I absolutely despise it. And this one just needs to go. I have Wuthering Heights here. I was going to try to do it for my challenge, and I'm not going to. I have so many books that I want to read, and I'm not going to waste my time right now trying to force myself to this one because I know I'm not going to like it. So it's going to go. It's Wuthering Heights, you know. Alright, the next one I have, again, is a beautiful copy of Edith Wharton's The Age of Innocence. I've heard so many people that love Edith Wharton. My first introduction to her was Ethan Frome in English 101, and I couldn't stand it. And I wrote a paper about basically why I couldn't stand it. It's basically, again, goes back to, I can't think of the word, but Ethan Frome basically is about a married man, his wife's cousin comes to live with them, and then there's an affair, and I was not impressed with it. Supposedly this great book about like true love and all of that, and I hated it. And then I got another one, Madame something or another, by her because everybody kept telling me how great she was, and it's again, it started out and then another affair. And at this point I'm kind of done with Edith Wharton, and I even asked this gal that loves her, I'm like, is this a theme in all of her books? And apparently it is, so I'm not even gonna bother anymore. I'm done. When I made my book list for this coming year, there were books that I'm like, okay, I need to let go of these because I'm just not going to make time for them this year, and so they need to go. They'll be there again in the future, and already I'm like, okay, I can already see a couple of years in advance, and some of these books are not going to fit on there. And that one is The Midwifes Revolt by Jodi Daynard. This sounds amazing. This is during the War of Revolution, and oh yeah, it had to do with Abigail Adams, and so I thought it would be really interesting, but I haven't heard anything. Suddenly I'm seeing a lot of these pop up in my town, so I'm guessing there was some kind of book club with this, but I don't have time for this, so it needs to go. If you've read it, leave it in the comment section down below. Tell me what you thought of it. Okay, we're back to classics now. This Side of Paradise by F. Scott Fitzgerald. This is supposedly like the book that his whole life, or about him and his life. Kind of like a fiction autobiography type of thing. But again, I am not a Great Gatsby fan at all. Apparently I have a theme that if it has to do with infidelity, I'm not going to like it. F. Scott Fitzgerald wasn't exactly the greatest guy on earth, okay? So, again, a classic that I want to read. It's on like 100 books that everybody should read, or 100 classics everybody should read, and I'm kind of done with this. So, I'm learning to make my time, value my time a little bit more. Just because something is recommended doesn't necessarily mean that I want to put my valuable time out for that at this time. Maybe never. And you know what? I think I'll be okay with it. Okay, back to contemporary books, non-classics, I don't know what you would call it. This is The Lightkeepers Wife, and I'm trying to remember why I got this. Oh, it sounds like her husband died and she's full of grief, and then a ship is kind of washed up on shore, and there's a guy that's going to help her get over his grief, and it's got like pirates and things like that. So I thought it would be really neat, but again, I've got a list so far, and this is not anywhere near the top, so it's going to go back to classics. Okay. Kipling, Plain Tales from the Hills. Again, I won't have time in the next year or two to get to this, and it's Kipling, so I know I can easily get it again. That is one that I would like to read someday, but not taking up space on my shelf right now. And along with that is George Orwell's 1984, which I got to read for Banned Book Weeks. I'm still trying to get through this. Like, I literally have picked this book up for 25 cents at least 4 or 5 times now, trying to read it, and it's not going to happen. I have too much of a TBR going on right now, all planned out. Like, this is my year that I'm going to get through all these books. This is not even anywhere near it. So, okay, The Good Pig. I actually really did like this book, but it's not one that I'm likely to read again with a huge TBR pile that I've got. This is by Montgomery. Again, it's a really interesting book. I really did enjoy it. I think I gave it like 4 stars on Goodreads. You can check it out below. But with all the stuff that I want to read or reread, this didn't make the cut, so it's going to go. This is another one that I really enjoyed, Finding Myself in Britain, but I haven't actually finished it. I only got halfway through, and each time I pick it up to read, you just kind of have to get into it. And I believe it's about an American moving to Britain and basically learning to become British. And it's just, I would like to read this one day, but it's not going to be for a long while, and I have it saved in my list of books that I want to read one day. So, to make room on shelves, it's going to go. The last book I have here is one that I have actually began reading. It's a children's book, and it's called My Louise Sky by Kimberly Willis Holt. We have some of her other ones. This, I think, is her debut book. The whole story behind this is you have a girl who's becoming of age. She has 2 parents that are simple-minded or whatever. I don't know if they've got Downs or something, but they're not all there. And her grandmother is kind of in the picture, and then her grandmother dies. And then it's about, so that's like the first half of the story, and you get that from the cover. This is like 1950s, I think, because television had just come out. And basically, from what I gathered, it was kind of how she finds herself, how she deals with all the new stuff that technology brings, how she deals with having parents that aren't normal. And I really did thought it was going to be a great book. I really did think I was going to like it. About halfway through, I was done. There is a good friend of hers in here. I can't remember her name. Tiger. There's a good friend of Tiger in here, and then he makes a move and kind of basically ruined the story for me at that point. So I just got halfway through, so I don't even know how this is going to end. But at this time, it's like, okay, I have much more books that I want to read. This is not something I would put back on my shelf for my kids at this time. So it's going to go. So that is the books that I have decided to unhaul this month. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to go donate these either to my local library or to the secondhand store and get credit. You enjoyed this video. If you did, maybe let's do it this way. Did, please give it a thumbs up so I know to keep making them. What about you? Have you read any of these classics? And if you did, what did you think of them? Have you read any of these other books? And again, if you did, what did you think of them? Alright, I'm going to see you